favorite channel. In my last video, I showed you how to adjust the driver skills in an AI driver roster. We went over the various skills and how adjusting those parameters affected the drivers. In this video, we're going to do some experiments and see how adjusting the driver skills actually affect the drivers to the end result that we desire. In my case, I want AI to be a little more reckless. I want some more AI crashes, not just the surgical precision driving that AI is known for. As Larry Mack is famous for saying, better reach up there and pull them belts tight. We're going to be working with the global Mazda MX-5 Championship AI car set that I created at Watkins Glen. Here's where the magic happens. Under driver attributes, we see the slider button bars, relative skill, aggression, optimism, smoothness, the age of the driver, pit crew skill, and pit strategy riskiness. Above the pie chart graph, you see apply to all. Once you set the driver attributes for one driver, you can apply them to all drivers, so all drivers have the exact same attributes. The only attribute this does not function with is relative skill, the top attribute. To change the relative skill of each individual driver, you have to select the drop-down menu for that driver and change each one individually. And then the lower right-hand button, Save Edits. Alright, let's get on with the testing. Here we see the driver attributes. I have these driver attributes set for each and every driver of the 30 car field. Relative skill, 0. Aggression, 100%. Optimism, 100%. Smoothness, 0. Now remember, smoothness, while it's on a scale of 0 to 100, 0 is causing the driver to oversteer, be aggressive, the rear end comes out. If you were to move the slider bar all the way to 100, he would be tight, understeer, heading toward the wall. 50 would be right smack dab in the middle. I chose to make these guys loose, so smoothness is at 0. The age, 13 years old, young buck. Pit crew skill, 0. Pitting strategy riskiness, 100%, but that won't come into play here on the road course with the Mazda. We had 9 driver incidents in qualifying. That seems like a pretty high number to me. We're also definitely seeing the effects of all the various settings of the driver attributes. They're coming in hot, they're getting loose, the rear end's coming around. You know, they're 13 years old, very aggressive, very optimistic in their skill, good reaction time. We'll take a look at the qualifying times. Reese's, who practiced at a 2:22.041, got the pole at 2:19.571. Batman in a number 3 car, who had the fast practice time at 2:18.853, did not lay down qualifying times due to incidents. Napa, same situation. He's at the bottom of the list there. Had a practice time at 2:20.071. Did not lay down a qualifying time due to accidents. I don't know if I've ever seen AI fail to qualify before. I think we're seeing the results that we want here. All right, on to the race, and one more time, I'm not in the race, it's just AI. Okay, so in the race we had 7 individual incidents. They were all single car spinouts or pushing into the wall. No car-to-car contact. All right, let's change things up. Back in the driver editor, I've changed everybody's age from the lowest 13 years old up to the highest 90 years old. So the reaction time at a 90-year-old shouldn't be as quick and as efficient as a 13-year-old. However, with age, it is noted that they are wise and they have more experience. The 13-year age group had 9 driver incidents in qualifying, and the 90-year age group had only 5 driver incidents in qualifying. Maybe that's the wisdom and experience coming into play here at 90 years of age. Looking at the qualifying times, on the left-hand side, the 13-year-olds, Rhesus got pole position at 2:19.571. Valvoline on the right-hand side, the 90-year-old guys, had pole position at 2:19.228. Pretty close there on the qualifying times between the 13-year-old and the 90-year-olds as far as pole position is concerned. On the left-hand side, we had Napa and Batman that failed to qualify. Dr. Pepper had a 2:35.716 left-hand side 13-year-olds for the slow qualifying time. And on the right side, Silver Bullet had slow qualifying time for the 90-year-olds at 2:27.804. So the 90-year-old guys on the top of the charts are pretty close to the 13-year-old guys at the top of the speed charts for qualifying. So the 90-year-old guys are on pace with the 13-year-old guys as far as top qualifying position, and they're much quicker at the bottom of the qualifying chart with Silver Bullet, again, at a 2:27.804 versus Dr. Pepper at a 2:35.716. All right, let's see how the 90-year-old guys race. Car-to-car contact sends 2 in the wall. That's the leader, Car Valvoline, loses it in the bus stop. Pole sitter Valvoline not having a good day. More car-to-car contact. Mobile One sends the Silver Bullet for a ride. Pole sitter Valvoline. Give it up, give it up. Wow, that was a wreck fest as far as artificial intelligence AI racing goes. In the 13-year age group, we had 7 driver incidents in the race. In the 90-year age group, there were 19 driver incidents in the race, including 2 incidents of car-to-car contact. This was what I wanted. I wanted some reckless driving out of the AI so it was more realistic. But there's a problem, you say, Dave. Currently set at 0 relative skill on both age groups. Even my slow butt in the MX-5 at Watkins Glen, I run 211s, 212s, a full 8 seconds faster than the AI, and that means you're just going to smoke them in qualifying and be on the pole every time. Or you can start in the back and then, work your way through the field. But of the 16 laps here at Watkins Glen of the 35-minute race time, it'd probably only take about 5 or 7 laps to get the field passed, and then you're just turning qualifying laps. So what are we going to do with that? Going to do a few more test races. I'm not going to show all the video, I'll just show the results. I'm going to set all driver attributes as we see here. Relative skill 0, aggression 100, optimism 100, smoothness 0, age 90 years old. Every driver will have these attributes. Then the only adjustment I'm going to make is the skill spread slider bar within the season that I've created for testing. Here we see it set at 0 low and 0 high. I will go to 50% high, 50% low. Then I'll go to 100% low and 100% high. No actual spread, but the high and the low numbers will remain the same. Remember, this is the 90-year age group only. In the 0 to 0 spread, we had a fast qualifier of 219.228. In the 50-50 spread, we had a fast qualifier of 212.946. And in the 100 to 100 spread, we had a fast qualifier of 209.583. The 50-50 spread had a 6.28 faster qualifying time over the 0 to 0 spread, and the 100 to 100 spread had a 3.363 faster qualifying time than the 50-50 spread. The 50-50 spread was 2.8% quicker over the 0 to 0 spread, and the 100 to 100 spread was 4.39% quicker over the 0 to 0 spread. Race incidents amongst the various spreads. In the 0 to 0 spread, we had 19 incidents during the race. In the 50-50 spread, we had 9 incidents in the race. 7 of those were car-to-car contact. In the 100 to 100 spread, we had 16 incidents. 13 of those were car-to-car incidents. Okay, so we're going to come back here to AI drivers and actual skill according to the iRacing tutorial. I'm not going to read through this whole thing. You can pause it and read it. I'll include a link in the video description and or the first comment so you can find this for your own reading. Basically what it's saying is when you have each individual driver's skill attribute set, it is directly affected by the skill spread of the AI event. It gives the example, if you have an AI driver who has a relative skill of 100 set under his driver category, but the spread has a maximum of 60, he is going to be scaled down to 60% of his skill, which is actually 100. If you have somebody that's at 0 skill and you have a minimum of 30 in the spread of the AI event, then he is going to be brought up to a skill of 30, even though in the driver attributes you have him set at 0. We'll read the last paragraph. Since these values are relative and scaled, be mindful of AI events with very few AI drivers, very large differences in relative skill, or a very wide skill spread. These situations can result in actual skill values during the AI event that might appear very different from their relative skill values. So in the experimentation that we've done here today, in every case, all of my drivers' relative skill in the driver editing page has been 0. So whatever I set the skill spread at, whether it's 0, 50, or 100, they are running based on their skill in the driver editor of 0 being scaled up to what I had in the skill spread in the case of 50 high and 50 low and 100 low and 100 high. You can see that you can really be chasing your tail in these AI car sets where you have each individual driver set to a certain parameter that you want, but then when you have the skill spread in the AI season set to a certain numbers or very wide fluctuations, say from 25% all the way up to 100%, that kind of just ruins everything you did with each individual driver. Super quick example that I can come up with, say you had a driver's skills under the driver editor that he's just rock bottom, he's no good, okay? But in the actual season under the skill spread setting, you have those skill spreads say from 75% to 100%. You want this driver to be a backfiller, you know, always running at the back of the field. When you set the skill spread in this AI season at a minimum of 75, he's going to be brought up to that level. Also remember that each individual driver's skill that you set in the driver editor page is relevant and scaled to other drivers. That's why they caution very few AI drivers. Small fields do not work as well as large fields of AI drivers. Additionally, keep the AI spread of the AI event or season as narrow as you can. Very large gaps changes everything. I currently have an MX5 season set up. It's just about 5 tracks to playing around. I have all the AI drivers at 0, 5, and 10 relative skill under the driver editor UI. I picked some favorites, if you will, and the skill spread for the season is 61% low and 61% high. While I have some pretty tight fields in these races, I'm not seeing the incidents anywhere near what we saw in our experimentation here. And I think that may be because I've got about a third of the field at 0, a third at 5, and a third at 10 in the driver attributes page. So once I get this current season done, I think my next season will be on a road course again, and I think it's going to be multi-class, and then it'll be interesting to see how these figures apply to oval racing. But watching these races play out, the 0 to 0, the 50 to 50, and the 100 to 100 on the spreads there with the driver attributes that we're seeing here right now. Wow, it's been some really, really good racing. A lot of car-to-car contact, you know, and we're so used to the AI being surgically precise. I want to get away from that. I don't want to turn lap times. I can do that with an empty track. So I think that I've kind of hit on something here. You know, these suggested driver attributes, relative skill for every driver, 0. Aggression, optimism at 100% for every driver. Smoothness, 0 for every driver. Every driver's 90 years old. Pit crew skill, 0. Gonna make them a little sloppy on the oval. And the pit strategy is at 100. Maybe they'll push it and not take fuel as cautiously as they do. I've had oval races where pit stops have been involved, and with like 4 laps of fuel to go, and I staged the race, so you know you had to make the choice whether you pitted or not. Every AI driver came in and pitted and took fuel. I easily won the race. So that's why I'm going to have pit strategy at 100%. The driver will try to make that call. Do I push it or do I not? Okay, here's my final thoughts. When I started to do experimentation with this video, I didn't know which way I wanted to go. Did I want to have all the drivers at 100% under the driver editor UI, or did I want to have them at 0? I decided to start at 0, and I think that was the right way to go. Remember, I want reckless, I want guys out there beating and banging, and if everybody had been at 100%, I think they would have been too smooth and too surgical. And I feel that would be the case no matter where I had the skill spread slider bars set in the AI season. When it comes to setting this up with an oval season, maybe we will find that having the smoothness set at 100 so they're pushing into the wall versus loose, hanging the rear end out, that remains to be seen when we get to that point. As I mentioned, I have a current MX5 championship season of 5 races going right now. I think I'm going to change the parameters to what we've seen here today because I have not seen anywhere near the incidents in the current season. One race at Daytona that I have completed. But seeing what I've seen here at Watkins Glen, which is the next race coming up in this series, I think I'll set the driver attributes all to 0, where I mentioned that I had some favorites picked, and I had some drivers at 5 and some drivers at 10. One other final thought, when you have all the drivers set exactly the same, you're probably not going to see a group of 1, 2, or 3 drivers that are consistently going to place in the top 5 or the top 3 or even win the races. It's probably going to be a different winner each and every time. It'll be interesting to see how this plays out over a season. Is there a driver that's going to be consistent, or is it just going to be a mishmash and you never know which way it's going to go? In which case, as long as you run consistently, then you have a very good chance of winning the championship. But remember, you've got drivers wrecking in front of you and behind you that may shake things up. All right, guys and gals, that's all I've got for you today. Thanks for coming along for the ride, and hope to see you next time.